Hello again, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Giggles and Growth, the lighthearted adventures of self-awareness and feeling mentally empowered through the tough stuff of life. So I am here with my guest today, Darpan, and we're going to have a conversation. I'm just going to ask her to just jump right in and take us beyond a squeeze, if you would, Darpan. Something you're either moving through right now and you're open to share, or an experience that you have where your self-awareness and self-discovery kept bubbling up, and we'll just sort of carry through the conversation, whatever arises.
First of all, thanks for having me, Donna. This is awesome. Hi, everyone. So at the moment, if people don't already know what I do, I am a nutritionist. I own a health food store and a clinic in Manatik. Now, this month is 23 years for me having this business. And for the past year, something's been brewing in my head as to I absolutely love what I do. Absolutely love what I do. And I don't think I'm going to stop doing that. Continue seeing clients, helping them, continue doing my lifeblood. But I've been wanting to do something different. It's almost like, what does Darpan want to do when she grows up phase at the moment. And I want to do something that's a little bit more joyous and fun, because my type of work, I see clients who are coming to me at their last resort. They've gone to different medical doctors, they've gone to different practitioners, and they haven't had the answers and nobody's able to help them. So I get the latter, I get all the pressure as to what needs to be done. But I'm also, because of the pandemic and just because of how things are changing in the world, seeing more and more dis-ease and diseases. And it just gets me down sometimes when I see younger generation coming to me. Like at the moment, I don't know if you remember when we had a conversation, like my clientele has been all ages, but I do thrive more so on 35 and plus. And in the last year and a half, my clientele has been 15 and up. So I'm not in a happy space because I see the deterioration happening in the population and disease increasing. So that makes me sad and disappointed. So I've been wanting to do something fun. And so there's a few things brewing. So I don't want to just spill it right now. If people are following me, they will know in the next month what more is coming up with Darpan. But yeah, so I'm in my change of life phase at the moment, and I still need some guidance from other people, like friends and families, and even some healers. Just getting little insights and inputs as to where they see me. Then I match it with what I want to do, and I'm coming close, but I'm not there yet.
Right. Love it. You opened up something so beautiful. And I think, we did have a conversation. We met at an event not too long ago and reconnected, which prompted this to be like, hey, Pope, get you on here. The idea being, and I mean, even in my own work, and this is what we talked about, it's like, we know there's such emotional, I'm going to use upheaval, right, in people right now. And when we see it at a younger age, right, because my work takes you into you as the early version of you, right? Like you're
Right.
reparenting yourself and healing that. And what happens, same thing. It's that, oh my gosh, where's the passion in a fun space for me? Because it is something that we see the hurt and the pain, because, and I'm going to use this, both myself and Darpan, and I don't know the fullness of your story, but I healed a chronic illness on my own, and I've gone all of that. And I know I'm going to use the struggle, and yet with the support of other people and really being open. And for me, it was talking to my blood. So ironically, blood, talking to my body, total cellular, I talk to my body, which is how that came up. So there's something else that came up for me, and I'm going to hone back over to the body in a second, but I think there's more and more women, and this isn't to discount men by any means, because it is men as well. It's just, there's such a bubbling underneath of the feminine principle. Maybe I would say that more, because you and I would lean into that a little bit, which is our bodies, our feminine wisdom, right?
Yeah.
Want us to emerge differently. So
and evolve all the time. like our body goes through so much
Yeah. And I
compared to a male's body. So like, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And this is why seeing kids and teens, I won't say kids so much, but at 15 or whatever, it's like the hormones are going, the chemistry is changing, they're running
Right.
patterns that their parents had, the ancestors, right? All these imprints start coming up because that's when we're moving out of that emotional development period into the mental development period, and it just keeps coming back. And for those of you that don't know, we work in these sort of sections of our lives where yes, we're a full body, but they come through in cycles and periods.
Exactly. Like even if they're coming for the live blood with me or a nutrition consult or weight loss consult, so many layers come up while we're having a conversation. Traumas will come up, childhood will come up, and it's just, and I do find joy in helping them in that many areas. But it's also because I'm seeing a lot of younger generation and more disease and disease in this present time. It's saddening actually.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? I'm going to make this a big call out invitation with your support because I know it's already there, which is
Yeah.
uh, women, mothers, and fathers. You need to do your work. You truly, there is work that needs to be done. And I say work, you need to come into your body in a different way. So that is my call out because in that way we will create the generations to come that we want. And I don't need to go deep into healing this
No,
and
you're correct because the kids are watching you.
yeah.
They're watching you hustle. They're watching you not or not taking care of self, or you're taking care of yourself. Like I mean, they're watching every step of the
Yeah.
way, and they're learning from that. Yes, they're learning from school. They're learning from their peers because they are there longer. But yet they're still being within the family, and whether they're single parents or they have both their parents. They are watching every step, and it's you sometimes are taken away when they bring out a conversation like I do sometimes. I'm like, oh wow, you know what? My kid's been watching and he knows that I am getting exhausted and tired and he's telling me to take a break. I need to listen.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
So it's a two-way street with them, right?
Yeah, 100%. So I love all that, and I'm gonna pull some of this back to you, right? Because this is about self-awareness, and I know that that's certainly something, and we're both very passionate about that. So I'm excited. I will follow and continue to follow because I do follow your work. So let's go into, just even an experience, and let's use this one that you brought up, which is when you're moving through something like this, right? And you're in a
Mhm,
squeeze. I call that
mhm,
squeeze. I'll call it
mhm.
challenge. But your body is moving in a different way, right? To have you, okay, look at things differently, stop, slow down, ask different questions. I want to know where in your body do you feel this or did you feel it? Like, right? Like, because some people, I'm all about what's going on in your own body and how you
Absolutely. I mean,
respond to it.
emotions play a huge role.
Yeah.
People need to listen to their gut. I know a lot of them have started listening because more people like us are talking about that, because the gut doesn't lie. So I try to really feel within the body as to like, okay, really can I push myself further or do I really need the rest? And if my child, who's only 12 years old right now, is telling me, you look tired,
Right.
why don't you take a break? I know I've pushed myself and I did not listen to my body.
Right.
Right. So the the bottom line is basically yes, we as mothers are the caretakers and we just have a lot on our shoulders. We just want to make sure that we are taking care of ourselves because all the other people that we're taking care of, whether it's our clients, our family, our elder parents, our kids, will be get much better uh, care from us if we took care of us
Yeah. Yeah.
better. Right? I mean, if we're exhausted, so think about it like empty tank, you can only go so far. But
Right.
if you fill up that with the fuel of what you need, then it's going much further and more efficiently.
Right.
Makes
Right.
sense?
Of course, it makes sense to me. This is for everyone out there as well. And yes, me, because there's something that's coming up. So anyone, please drop what's going on in your own body as you move through something, or because our body is a whole big old vessel. So some people may feel it in certain areas of your body, and that's where you sort of get messages or when you really know. I think what I want to hone back, which is, yes, you feel it in your body, and then you're using
Mhm.
I'm not going to say using, but you have the access to your child, your son, who's showing you and mirroring back to you, because that is what our
Mhm.
bodies do. The more and more we open to that.
Yeah.
What practice, right, do you do that is key for you in your day to day? Something that other people can do, that might be different, or just, what, this is what works to keep me centered during the day. Because again, things can come up, and you have
Yeah.
kids, you have, the shop, you have other practitioners, right? So what does Darpan do during the day when things come up, right? We're human.
I wake up early. I'm an early riser. I like to do my meditation, even if it's for a few minutes. It doesn't have to be a long meditation like people think of, and just be in the moment and just enjoy and look outside while the sun is rising, or even if it's before the sunrise or after, just take a moment, have my water, and just be. Okay? So that's really important for me. But throughout the day, I also take, which I never used to, little times for myself. So I have, because I'm on the phone a lot, because I have a lot of clientele online all the time, I've taken breaks in between, not to be on the phone all the time. So I'm not holding my phone at 24/7 like I used to, because that's really important. I have an infrared sauna here where in between clients,
Yeah.
I just have it on. Like just before you, I was just sitting in there and just
Right.
again, taking me time. Like me time is so important.
Love it.
Then I have the beamer where I sit down and just get oxygen in my system. If some days I'm not able to go out and go for my walk with the dog or whatever. So I am very mindful of little things, even like people think, they have to take a whole hour to go work out. And I personally sometimes don't have that time. So I break it down and just start with the early morning, which is always the same. My meditation, me time. I drink my tea at that time. I blend my herbs, and just I use herbs which I feel I need for the day. Like, I mean, me being an empath and intuitive, just like you, I'm able to see like, oh, this is what I need today. So I'm always like listening to the universe, listening to what my body requires for the day. And then I start my day that way. And it's always nice because I've had me time. And then after that, I can go into the craziness of getting the kids breakfast, the lunch ready, my stuff ready, and head out to the store for my clients.
Yeah. So you said two big things there, which I think are really important for people, which so they are, one, sort of micro time. I'll use it, micro actions.
Microtiming is great. Yeah. Like, quick
I do
math.
Yeah, I do the same. I've got my morning practice, and however, I don't need to go into it, but then every sort of 90 minutes, it's like, if it's even a 5-minute break, if that's like, I need 2 minutes, that is like away from the desk, away from anything else. It might be out in nature. And I'm a big proponent to get out in nature in all elements,
Yes.
right? I read it, I talk to nature. And then that's that second point, which is just like you were saying, what your body needs today. The more
Yeah.
we trust our body and get into our bodies, right, and learn what's going on, that opens up the body, the wisdom, the intuition, and we're
Right.
able to trust, right, which is and I know I'm the one that's bringing it back. However, it's what's coming really deeply through right now is why it's so key for the teenage women, teenage boys. It doesn't matter, but teenage girls, I guess I'll use it
All
that way.
ages, actually, all ages.
All ages, but I can see what came through very strongly was why it's so key for them, because the hormones and everything is moving, and they're moving into that mental development stage. It's getting them out of the brain into the body, which is why it's so key that age group learns their intuitive self, so that they're using they're using their body to read it, instead of, okay, I got to push through, right? I have to get 100% on this. I've got to get to this class. School's got me back to back to back to back to back. My mom's got me back. I got to rush.
It's a vicious cycle for sure.
So it's it's incredible. But I think you brought up those two big things, that us learning that body and the wisdom, that is what guides us. And it's like, okay, I know what to eat. I know
And
what
you
I'm
know
not.
what? If you ignore your body, it will stop sending you messages.
Yes. Yes. Thank you for saying that. Yeah.
So that's a really important key. And I have been there. So I know the difference.
Yeah.
Um, so the communication with other people and communication is a key for everything, but you need to communicate with your body as well.
Yeah.
Very, very important.
Well, the thing is, we're communicating all the time, which is, I think,
Exactly. But we're not listening.
which is
So
exactly.
communication and listening,
Yeah.
that has to happen, right? You could be talking and the person is just
And this
not
is where,
comprehending or listening.
so all ages, we're communicating in and out all the time, right? Yeah, anyway, there's so much brilliance there. And again, for those that are listening, this is so key. And if you don't have the tools and you don't know how, reach out, let us know wherever you're at. Because there's so many tools, and it's you finding what works for you best, right?
Exactly. Because
So,
not everybody wants to do yoga. Not everybody wants to do the meditation. I hear so many times, oh, I can't get to the meditative state. You don't have to. Just take 5 minutes and just deep breathe and just do what makes you happy. What's your Zen time? You want to paint? You want to just sit there, do absolutely nothing? You want to watch even TV? Like that is funny, that helps you just relax. Anything that is going to make you bring back to yourself.
yeah. Yeah, no, that's 100%. People have such a a disconnect when it comes to meditation, and there's many
Yes.
forms. But anything you're saying, if you're in a meditative state, which is my mind, I'm so present, right?
Yes.
No
Just
matter
be
what
present.
it is, bring you into such this present now, because that's really
Mhm.
all that's happening, right? When we
Yeah,
get
but
to
you're enjoying that piece of chocolate. Like you could be doing anything that's gonna just say big sigh just gets out of your system, and that's just like, okay, I'm ready, you know?
well, and even saying the chocolate, I think that there's something I want to share here too, which is, not being hard on yourself, like accepting, okay, am I making this choice because I want to have chocolate? Then be in chocolate, right? I
Exactly.
know when we reconnected, which is at a women's event, and for anyone that doesn't know, there's an immigrant women's entrepreneur group out there in Ottawa.
I'm
So
an immigrant.
we had reconnected there. But the funny part is I was like, I need something to drink. But I'm like, they had Coke. And I'm like, I'm gonna have Coke. And I'm like, I so am not a Coca-Cola drinker. And I said to you, I'm like, yeah, but I'm gonna love this Coke. Because when we do that and we know that we're not
Yeah.
denying the body, right? And we're not so regimented, we learn, okay, that's what my body needs. It needs a little
And
jolt.
that's what I teach. I don't know if you read the book yet, The Context Eating Method.
I know I
Okay.
have
It's all about that. It's about being in the right context and just enjoying that moment. You can have that glass of wine. Don't restrict yourself. Like, obviously, you don't want to have that piece of cake again at 3 o'clock in the morning because that's not the right context. But, like what you said, you wanted to have that pop, which you don't usually do, but it was in the right context. You enjoyed it and you were not feeling guilty. You're like, you know what? I'm going to make good out of this.
yeah, yeah.
And that's what people need to do. So the mindset is a huge thing, which I know you work on.
Yeah. Well, we call it brain set more and more than mind, but because again, this is good. This is good. The good way to
Yep.
bring it. There's three minds that we have, people.
Yep.
This one, the heart, and the gut.
The gut.
Which is why those are the big things that we need to come to love, self-love in those spaces, right?
Mhm.
We need to quiet this so the heart comes up, and you can look at gut biome and all those things, and I'm not discounting it. I'm just saying your own solar self lives here. When you
Absolutely.
can sit
Yep.
in that quiet space, right? Which is why it isn't just about choosing only yoga, choosing only working out. Your body gets so accustomed to doing something, and then it becomes a check, I do this thing, which is why
Exactly.
these comfort zone patterns, and we don't know how to pull ourselves out
And
of
you
it.
know what? That's a good point because a lot of times people don't realize that is actually causing a subconscious stress to the body as well. So it's there's so many layers that people do not either connect to or understand. And that's why, I mean, I'm glad you're doing this because people listen and there might be an aha moment by something that you or I say, and it's like, I've done my job for the day, right?
100%. And
Yeah.
it is that we're so complex, and yet being in that body and intuitively learning how, right? And this takes some practice, and some people might have it and they've used it all the time, but it's like
Yeah.
you either run with your sacral, you run with your emotions, you find out how does your body run and nap and run. I say move towards, right? And then you start to trust, oh yeah, no, I'm not supposed to be there, I'm doing this. And it goes so against, we know this, that the logical, what business is this and life is this, and I have to do this and I have to do this.
You know
No,
what? In the last the good 15 years, I would say 10, 15 years, maybe 10, it is like I will know my soul, my body, whatever is going to tell me like, I don't need to go to this, even if it's a party, say. It could be an event, could be anything. But I'm like, I don't feel it. And I do listen to it. Like before 10 years, probably I'd be like, no, I'm just going to go. I'm going to push myself through. But the more you listen, because it's so important to have your energy flow in the right frequency too. And if you think it's going to disrupt by going to a certain place or talking to a certain person or doing something that your body, your mind, your soul is not agreeing to, I think we need to really respect ourselves and listen to that. And it's okay to say no, right?
100%. And that's
Yeah.
that's the learning curve, because you're talking to the queen of, I used to be a people pleaser.
You know what? I've made my mistakes, but you learn from it. It's when you don't learn, it's going to be a struggle.
And that's what it is. That's why they say this whole experience is this game that we're living, because it's like, okay, did you learn the next thing to go the next way and just play with yourself?
Evolve.
How do you play with yourself? So there you go, Darpan. We need to play with ourselves.
I play with myself all the time.
Exactly. So then let's just go there. We can move right into that in terms of this laughter, right? Obviously, I think people can see the fact that you and I have that capacity to move through it. However, you know what? Let's talk about even if there was, what's the laughter on the other side? What's that growth? What's that, or how do you use laughter as a part of, even opening yourself up more?
If you've ever seen me laugh, I laugh really loud. I don't go like some people are like, I am just very open. I think it's also cultural. I come from an Indian background and I'm half Hindu, half Sikh. And I find the Sikh generation is very, very open, loud, and I'm glad I have that part of it in me, because I don't shy out if I am laughing loud. And if I had to even grunt, it's happening, it's happening. If my soul is happy about something, I am going to laugh it out. Do I fake laugh sometimes? Absolutely. It is so beneficial for the brain, because the brain doesn't know the difference between a real laugh and a fake laugh. Yeah. So, coming to a story, like when I used to be back home in India, I used to go for walks early in the morning with my dad and my uncle. And I used to see these elder people sitting on the ground in front of a tree and just laughing out loud. And I thought they were insane. I would always go there and I'd be like, oh my God, they are so crazy. Till I grew up, understood more of the science and the energy of it. And I keep it part of my life. I think laughter, yoga, or just laughing for no reason, or watching a comedy show just to get that laughter out is so healing, at least for me.
Yeah, no, I love it. And it's interesting, because there was, obviously the channel is about, there's the laughter on the other side, and how do we each find it? And there was one guest that I had
yes,
shared that it's very imperative now that her and her husband, she checks in with him every day to make sure that you laughed at least 7 times today. Did you?
Oh, I like that.
And I loved it. And then I smiled and I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like, I must have 1,000 times, because that's just a natural, because I know what it does to the chemistry in my body. Well, what happened after that particular episode, and I didn't share it on the episode, I dropped it in afterwards, but I'm going to add it here because it just seems right, which is the average adult only laughs like 17 times a day, where a kid laughs 300, right?
That's why they're so joyous, but also because they have less stressors.
But yes, and hold on, I'm going to use the less stressors should you choose to see it as a stress, versus, because I think you are like this. And again, the human wants to go back, but there's less stressors because we're talking to an audience and ourselves, right? We're human.
Yeah.
It's we still have the capacity, the more and more we take those breaks, because I'm going to use even the micro moments allow us to take a quick look at, oh my gosh, what was good in that? Where did I learn something? Because then when you do it more and more, and I am going to use the laugh at myself, with myself. I'm not laughing at. I'm laughing with my own intuitive self to be like, you got that lesson, or let's do that again, but in this way, so that we are bringing that vibration, that energy into what it is we do, bringing us
100%.
bringing us back to the childlike state. Because if you watch kids and you have your own, I didn't have children, nieces and nephews, yes, and see kids all the time, but it's like they do something, they might cry and scream, drop it
I
off they go. Off
One
they
of the
go.
things I do tell many, not all, because some of them can't relate to it, is, bring your inner child out once in a while.
You gotta.
Honestly, it could sound silly. Like, I know for a fact, my kids sometimes will look at me and go like, "Oh my God, that was so weird. That was so quirky." But I am that person, you know. And hopefully they will learn from that and be able to have a little extra sense of humor and quirkiness in their life as they get older.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think we need it more and more. We are so over adulted. We're
Oh, we
so
are. I know. I love being a kid. Like, I bring my inner child out all the time, especially when it rains. I go out and get completely drenched and stomp in the water just because it brings me so much joy, like I did when I was a child.
okay. And I'm gonna. Sorry, now I'm doing a plan with Darpan in a different way. In your own work environment, and I know we'll go a little longer, which is
Yeah.
fine.
Oh
However,
my gosh,
when
I didn't realize. So sorry.
no, that doesn't. I try to keep them 20 minutes, but that's okay. So
Yeah.
whoever's
Yeah.
listening, hang on this. We're almost done. Here's the thing, though. When you bring that into your day-to-day work, a customer comes in, you already have that sense of, and or someone that's listening, if you work with the public, bringing that out, they automatically will connect with this. Their brain might not, because their brain is sitting in a, oh my God, I got to get to work and I got to hurry up and I got to
It's
know
because
this.
your vibration is on a different level and it's just exploding out of you, right?
Exactly.
So
So
people will feel that.
when you use this heart, which is the laughter essence of the body coming out, right? It's
Yeah.
connecting in whatever that nobody's saying you have to laugh at your clients. It's just how are you being jovial? Are you being
Yeah.
lightness, lighthearted? You're sending that vibration out, and that's a whole nother episode. However, it's that also that I put this channel together as well, so that even when you're with a client, you
Yeah.
go into it with the essence of you, which is
Mhm.
open and pure and clear and innocent, right? Which is how we who channel become more channels, right? Which is open yourself up, be an
Yeah.
open stream, right? Just let that go so
Be
that
vulnerable.
whatever comes through your client, our clients, you talking to your own mother, whoever's listening here, whoever you're speaking to, you come
Mhm.
through and you're clear to hear that message, right? Your choice what you do with it. And if you're not hearing messages, may this open you a little bit more and you start to get more inquisitive about what all of that is. So
Exactly.
anyway, okay, well, we've come to the end of the time, which is fabulous. This was great to bounce and play with you because I think that's definitely what came about. Is there anything you want to just sort of add and cap off with everyone who might be watching before we end the show?
Listen to this over and over again and bring joy into your life and give that moment to yourself, even if it's just for a minute. Just be close your eyes and just stand, even like just anything to ground yourself.
100%. Anyway,
Thank you for having me.
thank you again, Darpan, and for everyone that's listening. As I always say, keep giggling and keep growing and keep shining bright because the world needs you right now. And you need you. So love on you as much as you can. So take care until we see you again.
Okay, see you later.